In one of my last videos I showed you which analog cameras I'm using right now. But since I use different cameras for different purposes and I'm not a guy who shoots only analog or only digital, I'd like to take this opportunity to show you which digital cameras I'm using right now in 2022. But before you get started with the video, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot to keep making videos. The Fujifilm X100 is by far the most important camera for me because it really motivated me to take photography much more seriously. After starting analog with the Minolta X500, I bought the camera right when it came out in 2011. I spent all my savings on it back then and I felt pretty bad about it at first because I suddenly put quite a lot of money into a hobby all at once. Now I have owned the camera for 11 years and I have shot some of my best and also most selling pictures with it. And I think it's one of the best investments I've ever made gear-wise. The Fujifilm X100 allowed me to shoot street scenes quickly and almost silently for the first time. The fixed 23mm f2 lens still delivers beautiful colors along with the CMOS sensor. The camera is small and I can always carry it in my jacket without it bothering me. I would love to get a Fuji X100V, but that would mean that I would have to leave my X100 Classic at home more often, and I don't want to do that yet. With a camera that old, you obviously have to sacrifice autofocus performance and megapixel count. The X100 Classic has 12 megapixels. For small and medium-sized prints, the image quality from this camera is easily sufficient. Besides, it's nice to have to work slower with the old software. Ironically, the old Canon EOS 5D Mark III is my latest purchase. My main job is a video producer and I use a lot of EF lenses. I bought the camera because I wanted a sturdy full-frame camera that would work well with my EF lenses. But another big reason, maybe even the bigger reason, is that I've been shooting mirrorless since 2011 and I've always wanted a big bulky SLR. So to a very large extent it's also because I've always wanted to play with one of the good old DSLR dinosaurs. The Canon EOS 5D Mark III is built very robustly, so I can put it in my backpack without a protective bag. Every function is where it should be. The menu is clearly structured and since I own the camera I rarely use my other cameras, some of which are better and newer than the 5D Mark III. It's hard to describe, but the camera feels just right in the hand, and even though it's much heavier than new mirrorless cameras, I can hold the 5D relaxed in my hand for much longer. The images look almost perfect out of cam and I got used to it very quickly when editing the RAW files, so I can edit many images very quickly. Of course, the camera works hardly for street photography. It is huge, loud and covers my whole face. People passing by react very strongly to it and that's why I only use the camera for documentary and automotive photography and other projects where a discrete camera is not so important. The Sony a7 III connects me a love-hate relationship. The camera is incredibly good, handy, and even the kit lens I just use for vlogging right now is doing a fantastic job. The video footage from the camera is really impressive and I use it professionally as a second camera when I shoot interviews or when I need a camera on a gimbal. I'm also bothered by the incredibly large configuration options for color profiles, some of which don't even make sense with the 8-bit video footage that the a7 III offers. For video I use the plugin Cinematch, with which I get very fast good results when I need to match two completely different cameras. But for photos the camera has a very own color scheme, which I also like very much for some projects. One of my best known images was shot with this camera and it's perfect when I want to cover photo and video while traveling with a smaller pack. As for optics choices, I'm very happy with the kit lens and adapted EF lenses. Most of the time I use my Vogtländer Nocton 35mm from my Leica on this camera. But I would really appreciate a tip for a good all-around lens from Sony. Feel free to write it in the comments. Tragic but true. The best camera is the one you have with you, and for me it's often my iPhone. I've taken a lot of great photos with it too, even though I hate everything about the characteristics of those little lenses and all the digital image optimization. You have to literally force the camera and shoot as manually as possible. Then it delivers usable and sometimes surprisingly good results. I'm not locked into a particular iPhone. In the real world, even the iPhone 13 Pro Max pictures look awful when you rely on automatic mode. I think out of camera I like the photo and video footage from the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 11 the best. This portrait was taken shortly after I learned how to manipulate the exposure with the iPhone camera, and I'm sure I couldn't have captured this moment as well with a larger camera. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to write me in the comments if you want to see a more in-depth review video of one of my cameras. See you next time.